Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Getting Close Up, the show focused on independent artists and creatives. I'm your host, Danielle Cox, and since I have your attention, I say it all the time and I mean it every time. Join the GCU fam today by liking the video, subscribing, and ding the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now today I have a guest with me that on the outside appears to be cool, calm, and collected, but trust and believe there is a storm of creativity lying just beneath. Today we are getting close up with singer-songwriter Frankie Shorez. Hey girl.
Hi.
And really, honestly, that's how I feel like when you're very calm and collected and you just seem just very at ease. But then when I listen to your music, I'm like, girl, what?
We got some energy.
You got some energy. Like there is definitely something underneath, and your style feels very unexpected.
Yeah.
It feels very unexpected. So what I want to ask you is there a particular genre that you feel you're most suited to right now in your journey?
Right now, it definitely feels like blues. I feel like our music right now is definitely like dark pop blues vibes. Yeah, with a little bit of heavy rock and roll undertones.
Yes, definitely some rock in there.
Yeah. Well, and that's also because, we only have that one single out right now, which is Wanna Be Bad, and there's some rock influences there. But we also have the album coming up. It should be out in October of next year. Don't quote me on that. But there's much more just blues influences there, and which makes sense because when I started getting into the jam scene, I went into like Knuckleheads and Christine's and those places, and so that's where I learned how to play with live musicians and things like that. And so the blues kind of just showed and took over. I started working with a lot of blues artists and guitarists and things, so that's kind of what what changed the sound for me.
Got you. Yeah, because you've been doing this for a while, and so like listening to some of your older music, you can really hear where you started and where you've ended up, but you still see you.
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm getting you in that, especially through your songwriting. Is there a genre or something that you haven't quite cracked into yet that you think you'd like to do?
Oh, definitely funk.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Just feels like the next progression.
Yeah, that's where we're going after this first album. That's the direction we're going. That's kind of what I want. That's kind of where I want to stay after all of this is done. Is in the funk soul era. Yeah,
I could definitely see that for sure.
Yeah.
So we had the pleasure of having you on our band leaders panel show.
Yes.
And really appreciated that conversation. You offered a lot of really great insight to it, and we'll get into that later to kind of expound on some of the things we didn't get a chance to talk about.
Yeah.
But we didn't really also get a chance to talk more about you. So I want to get, that's why you're here, by yourself in the purple chair.
Yeah, the cozy chair.
It's very, very cozy.
It is.
I
want one.
It's a little more cozy than what probably I need. I need to not be as laid back, passed out. But anyway, so let's talk a little bit about your background and everything. Like, did you come from a musical family or anything like that?
No, actually, I came from a sporty family. So,
wow.
Yeah, all of my siblings were in track, field, basketball, football, parents too. And then their career path was mostly either nursing or teaching. So I was kind of just the one person that was like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to be a singer. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I stuck with it. I've been doing it since I'm going to say 14.
Wow.
I imagine that I've been singing longer than that, but I can remember taking it seriously and deciding to be a writer, a musical writer. Vocals were never really the forefront of it. I liked writing. And so I was writing music for a long time, and then I hit 17 and I recorded my first song called Shame in my friend's basement in his studio, and that's still out online and still kind of one of my favorite songs.
It's deep. That one's deep. I wanted to ask you, because you kind of answered my next question, which was going to be like, what was like one of the first songs you remember really writing?
Yeah.
And that was one of the first songs that you put that you actually recorded. But tell me a little bit about where you were in the headspace in writing that song and what really triggered you into writing music.
So that's a really touchy subject.
I get it. Tell what you want and keep what you need.
Well, a lot of those songs are really deep, you know, and as a child, you can't really write that kind of stuff through your own experiences. So that was based off of experiences and things that I was witnessing growing up in my childhood. And just kind of like the chaos at home between my parents and things. And so a lot of the first songs that I wrote and the things that I was writing about, it was based off of kind of the outsider looking into my parents and their marriage and just like what was going on, my story.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. I didn't do the math when looking at when the song was released to figure that out, because I solidly would have thought you were older.
Yeah.
So it's a very
100%.
interesting point that you made, because that's how I felt listening.
Yeah.
So getting into, I asked this to a lot of songwriters specifically, but how does it feel when you are performing or putting out something that's so vulnerable?
I mean, I think it's a really scary feeling. It's just a fear of not being accepted, a fear of people kind of not liking something that you lived or witnessed, and that's just kind of scary. And you have to get to a point to where you gotta do it scared.
You gotta do it scared.
You gotta do it scared, and hopefully people accept it. And if they don't accept it, then that's okay. That's just not your crowd, and that's just not your people, you know. But there's also a crowd of people that went through the same thing that you went through and didn't know how to put it to words. And you put it to words for them. And so now they get to hear this thing and get to relate to it and say, man, this is what I was going through. This is what I was experiencing. This right here.
It's really just also kind of not taking the reach of your gift for granted.
Yeah.
That's what I hear when I hear you say that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you do take for granted that not everybody is going to be able to put into words the way you did.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why you did.
Yeah.
And so it needs to get out so that other people can connect with it.
Absolutely.
Which, if our art isn't about connection, then what is it for?
Absolutely. Yeah. You're given a voice.
Yeah.
You're given a voice for a reason. There are people that just can't speak or don't know how to speak, and you're kind of here to do that for them. You know, it's the weight of your gift, and you got to carry that, and you got to honor it, and you got to be bold enough to follow through with it. There's a lot of times I've written things and put them out and got scared and like retracted them and took them offline. I'm like, I don't want to put this out. I don't know how people are going to accept it. And that was like a betrayal to myself, you know, betrayal to myself, betrayal to everybody else. It was just kind of like, what do you mean you took it down? What do you mean you're ashamed? You're ashamed of your own gift, your own talents, and your own creations. And how can that be? You know, because it's a representation of you in your life and your experience. So how are you ashamed of that, and how are you taking it down? You know,
there's so many people that need to hear that. There's a lot of artists that I've talked to that have struggled with that.
Yeah,
they've struggled with the very thing that they created, and they, you know, the fear behind letting it be released.
Yeah, because
once you put it out there, it's not yours anymore.
Yeah, it's the world's.
It's the world's, and that is a scary big thing. But if this is the walk that you're gonna be on,
you better own it.
I mean, otherwise it could just stay in a notebook, right?
Absolutely. It's funny because people ask, they're like, man, you've been doing this for years. You keep saying you've been doing this for years. Where's your music at? And it's like, man, I think the 3 EPs I've put out and taken down. Put out, boom.
Wow,
no,
3.
No. Yeah. I have a lot of music. I've been writing for a long time, and I've just been in fear for a long time. You know,
I feel like you're turning the corner on that. Am I wrong?
I am turning a huge corner. I am shedding a lot, you know, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, just of leaving certain people and things behind that were kind of making me feel like that child in the corner that was in fear, you know, and like she's got to grow up, you know, and the older version of me is just kind of like reaching her hand out to this girl, and it's like, no, you got to get out of that corner. You're not her anymore. Come on over here.
Letting the current version of yourself be the adult that child in you needed.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, this is the version that is going to be the one that does what nobody else did at that time.
Yep. Yeah. One of the songs I retracted was called Save Myself. And it was like literally talking about you have to be the person to save yourself. You know, because sometimes you get in that mindset of, you know, somebody's going to come along and save me. My parents are going to apologize at some point. This is going to, like, someone's going to, you know.
I don't want to start fanning, but I got this mic on. That was heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That what you just said right there. Because a lot of people are struggling with that. But that just lets you know you got a lot of material to start trying to release. And we'll talk about that a little bit later too.
Yeah.
But thinking about let's move on to a different part of your past. Tell me about your first performance that you remember.
Oh my God. So me and my best friend, we went to the independent shopping center, and there was a company called Barbizon USA, and they were doing modeling auditions. And so me and my friend were like, well, we're gonna go audition. And there was this big thing, you had to come walk the runway and like audition and show that you had talent and all this stuff. And at the end of it all, you had to come up with your talent, and you had to do a talent, like a performance.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so my friend danced, and I decided to sing one of my own songs. But it was huge, but I was in line, and, you know, I was getting ready to get up there, and I was like, I'm gonna sing my song. I was gonna do it a cappella. And my big sister comes running up to me, and she goes, I know you're gonna sing your original, but you should sing Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson.
Oh.
And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yep. And so I was like 17 years old, and I ended up singing Dirty Diana a cappella in the Independence Mall. And it was one of the coolest things as a 17-year-old that I had ever done.
I'm trying to think of songs that I would have ran up to someone, my sister even, and at the last minute would have said, ooh, maybe you should sing this song.
Do this.
And I don't think it would have been that song at all.
No. I used to sing it I was obsessed with Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay.
And so I would like sing this song all the time, constantly throughout the house. It was Michael Jackson's Dirty Diana or En Vogue's Don't Let Go. I was just obsessed with these two songs.
I can totally hear you on that one.
I still sing that one to this day. I love that. That's my karaoke song.
Ooh.
Love that song. But yeah, that was my first performance, Independence Mall. It was really cool. They need to bring that back.
That's another thing. We talk a lot about how like talent shows and different things like that just aren't a thing anymore.
No,
and that
they're
being
not.
what the catalyst to push people out. And even though you have social media where everybody could just like, you know, set up a camera and all that, there's something about that push that puts you to a first performance live
100%
with other people watching you and in the audience. It's a big deal, and it's a pivotal moment in your performance life. And another thing that could be a pivotal moment, is if you bomb. So do you have a bomb story?
So yeah,
like
I do. I have several bomb stories. I had a hard head. You have to be like a little insane to be a musician or an artist in general.
You
gotta be a little crazy.
Reckless level of confidence.
You gotta, like, I think that the definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over
again, expecting different results.
Right? And that's what we did. I ended up, so when I first started doing music, it was tracks and recording. I had never worked with live instrumentation. And so I ended up going to Knuckleheads. And that was like one of the first jams I started going to.
It'd be a tough crowd.
Well, Juke House. I went to Juke House, and I went to I'm gonna say Juke House, and that was cool because you could use your tracks, right? You could use your tracks, and it was fine. And also, I come from the R&B realm. That was the first realm I was in, and so there was a comfort level there. So it didn't feel like Knuckleheads, where Knuckleheads felt like I have never in my life. I have never in my life played with a horn player, bass player, all of this stuff. And blues is a very like strict thing where they're like, this is how you've got to play these things. This is how it goes. And you like, they don't like, you know, anything new is kind of like just not the best idea.
not the best idea.
Not the best idea. So here I am, this hard-headed kid, and I'm like, I'm gonna sing my originals. I'm not doing a cover. I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna come to Knuckleheads, and I'm gonna do my originals, and I'm gonna sing these songs, and they're just gonna have to pick it up. And I get on stage, and they're like, oh, what key are you in? And I was like, I can sing it for you. You want me to sing it for you in your ear, and then like that'll help. And they're like, you don't know the key of the song? Who is this girl?
Get her off
who
the
is she?
stage.
Get her. And I'm just like, oh God. And so so I got up there and I would like stomp and clap and like try to show them and sing them the song. And they're like, all right, man, we're just gonna like guess. We're just gonna go with it. And it didn't work out several times, you know? And so that was the first hurdle. And the second hurdle was vocalizing and singing stronger, because you know, like in the R&B realm, like that smooth sultry sound is like that's what you do, right. You know, and there's a thing in that. The softer you can sing, the more excited we can get about that, you know what I mean? But in the blues world, they want you to like project and power. You gotta hit it, you know what I'm saying? And so if you don't know how to do that, and you don't know vocal control the way that you think that you do in another realm, your voice can crack. You shake, all of this stuff. So I just recall getting up there and being super confident and ready to do my original, and because we'd done it many times, and I got up there and I'm like, all right, I'm going to focus on power. And I get up there and this woman's recording me, and I go for this note, and my voice completely cracked and gave out, and she had it on film and then posted it on Facebook. And I was just like, and I'm a very dramatic person, so I like dropped on the floor after seeing the video. I was just like, oh God, my life.
Wait, you dropped on the floor on the stage?
No, at home.
Afterwards.
So it was already a problem on stage. I got home and saw the video on Facebook, and I just dropped on the floor, and I'm like, oh God, this woman put it on Facebook. It's here. I can't take it down. And even if I ask her to take it down, that's not going to look good. I just had to deal with it. I just had to like live with this video being, please don't go look for that video.
Oh my God. I was just thinking that, like, please don't do that, y'all.
Please don't. Please don't. It's not the best, but it's fine.
I mean, it happens. Like that's kind of the beauty in me asking that question.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of people, again, are afraid of stepping out in that live performance because they're afraid of what if I bomb. But the thing is, now you go up from there.
Yeah. You can only go up.
You can only go up from there.
You can only go up.
And that experience, I feel like, has kind of also led you into other things and other ventures that you started into. Like you started a talent development agency, like working on developing other people and working in the community with other artists.
So I do write for other artists. That's I do want to develop and start helping people develop their talents. That's like my retirement plan. So when I'm done with my thing and I'm, you know, like done with trying to tour and things like that, that's I do want to focus on other artists and developing them and modeling and things like that. So that's a whole thing that I'm trying to do. But as of right now, I just write for people. So I've written for a couple of people. I've written for Elijah Thompson. I've written for Jamoke Bridges. I've written for Maddie Ogden.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I am right now. But the development part is a goal. A goal of mine.
But it's like those experiences really help you to be able, even though it's embarrassing and you crumple down to the ground and it's like devastating, and even now it's like, please don't look at it. But it teaches you something that doing well can't, to be frank. I mean, like just doing well at everything doesn't teach you the same things as stumbling. No,
it doesn't. It doesn't teach you resilience.
No, it doesn't teach you resilience.
Yeah.
And you have going back to the panel show, you had a really, really interesting take as far as attracting good people and band members to you.
Right.
Because you started pretty much a solo artist. You had a very rough intro into live music. Yeah. And then you just decided that was going to be your thing. And now you have a band. And we talked a lot about your experience as a band leader, but what were some of the experiences specifically that led you that took you from looking for the right people to deciding, I'm just going to let them come to me. I'm going to attract the right people?
Yeah, I think I had gotten disappointed too many times. And I think I was trying to, I think I was maybe reaching for something I wasn't ready for. And it just, things just weren't working out. And I was getting involved with the wrong people who weren't there to support my project and weren't there to support me, but instead just there to like collect a payment and a check from me. And while I don't mind like, you know, hiring people to do things, there's a difference between an artist and like, you know, a cover band type of thing, and realizing that I'm not a cover band and I'm not making the money that these kind of bands make, where I can go into places and collect those kind of checks and pay people out like that. A lot of times I'm getting gigs where I'm not being paid at all, you know? Yeah. And then I have a team of people that need me to pay them. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. I can't survive like this. This is not, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so I had to wait. I had to wait for people that wanted to be a part of my project and weren't there to get from me, but to help me and to like support me as an artist, you know? And I found those people. And or these people kind of found me, you know? Like my guitar player right now, Craig Johnson, is one of the most incredible people I've ever worked with in my life. And he went out on a limb and he took a chance on me. I sing in his cover band with him as one of his front people, and he plays in my band, and he, you know, he's just helped so much and helped like develop the sound, helped just like be there, you know, to where I feel supported. Because it's hard being an artist when you don't feel supported and you feel like you're just supporting everybody else. Yes. And you're just being drained all the time of your finances, of everything that you have, you know? And you just can't go far with that, you know? But it's also okay to be a paid musician. I'm not saying
there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. I just think that we have to understand the realm we're working in, you know? And so I think that a lot of people have to understand as musicians that if you're a paid musician, if that's what you're looking for, you got to go to bands that do that. But you can't come in the original space and operate that way, because
you had to face what it is that you needed as an artist. And I think a lot of people are afraid to say, I need an even exchange. Yeah. You know, I'm not okay with just transactional, because it feels like it drains something from me.
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of people are just wanting to have a band that will be there, and so they sacrifice the part of what they need.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what was going on.
Yeah, and you just end up feeling like, well, we showed up to the gig and everybody's there, but I don't even know if they want to be here playing this with me.
Exactly. They don't even like the music. I had a conversation with a particular band member at the time, because Mercy has had so many members, and a lot of them, well, one in particular, I had a conversation with, and they had never even heard my music before. They didn't even know. They were like, "Oh, you have music out?" And I was like, "Wow.
Oh no.
That's incredible." That's incredible. Yeah. And it's incredibly hurtful is what it is, because these are things that you've written. This is your heart and your soul. This is not just music. This is not just a check. These are my creations, and the people that are here, you're supposed to be in this creation with me and doing this with me, and you have never even heard my music before. So you don't even like it. Or
that would make me feel some kind of way. I felt some kind of way for you just as you said that. Like, I'm sorry, what? But you definitely found the right group of people, and I think it shows in seeing your live performances. Going back, there was a really cute moment in the Coop sessions. Yeah. And Drive Faster, like right before the chorus, when everybody's like, pause, and you're like looking at each other, and then it just hits. And it's such a cute moment of like connection. Yeah. Because everybody knows what they're doing, but it's just like, you kind of all have that moment together. And I thought that was really cool.
We're in this together, and we're enjoying the moment together. We enjoy the music together. There's a respect and a rapport and a love for one another. in this lineup that I have, and that's something that's so new to me that I've never experienced. And God, I feel like it's just like the universe finally giving back and saying, hey, you know, like you've put in the work, and like here are these beautiful people that are willing and wanting to work with you and care about you and your project. And this is not transactional. It's not transactional. We're in this together. We want to see this go to the next level. So
I love that, because it's a rare thing. And I feel like it's a rare thing because people haven't admitted their needs yet.
Yeah, I never did.
Yeah,
I never did, and that's a responsibility that I have to take as well. On top of, like, it's because it's not just all on them. I think that there's definitely like that fear again, a fear of loss, fear of people walking away from a project, or you know, like anything like that. And so you will deal with whatever to kind of keep people around, because that's that little girl in the corner
100%.
again.
And that's also kind of the way, if you really think about it, your other relationships are being kind of projected in that same way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's that's a whole other ball of wax. So let's get into recording, because we kind of talked about how you have a new single out now. You have an older EP that's out as well, and then you have some projects that you were kind of like fighting with getting those out. But now that you've figured out what it is that you want to do, talk to me about your journey and wanting to get that stuff recorded. Like, what has been some of the big challenges that you've had there?
Yeah, so definitely the team. Definitely pausing on this project that we're doing. Like, the songs from Flew the Coop are going to be on this album that's coming out in October.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And so the songs have been there for a long time. But I have, for one, wanted to have an authentic sound in the studio, meaning I'd like the full band.
Okay.
My favorite album was Tina Marie's, I can't remember the name of the album, but it was like she was in that red robe.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Rick James was on that, and so it was authentic music, and I want my album to ride authentically like that, you know, and I want the right team to play on that. And when I mean the right team, I mean people that I connect with, right? People that are invested in this and care about it. Like, you know, they might get upset about certain thing because their heart's in it, right?
I get that.
You know, and so that's what I was waiting for. And I was just like, I'm just going to be patient. And, you know, if the album comes out this year, it comes out this year. It comes out next year, it comes out next year. But I'm going to wait for the right team. And so now we've got the team. And so January of 2025.
All right now.
We're going to be in the studio.
Got a time frame.
We
love that.
We got a time frame. We got a calendar. That's another part of it as well that I have to take responsibility on, was organization. Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because that is a big thing for a lot of artists, especially since being a creative and in the creative space, we don't like deadlines. We don't like dates. We don't like this needs to be done by such and such. Yeah. Literally, we'll go the opposite direction.
Yep.
So, and a lot of artists, you know, like in the space of being commercially signed, they have managers that take care of all of that.
Right.
But in independent space, you may not have a manager.
You are your manager.
You are your own manager. Yeah. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like there needs to be people in this space as well that can manage and work with an artist. But that's like a whole different tier.
So it's a money thing as well. It's a money thing. And so, and that's why, again, the predicament of having the rotation and not having management, not having certain things, and not having albums out and things like that. It's never really because you don't have the music or you can't. It's the money thing, right? And so you have to be your own manager. You have to be your own agent. You have to do all of that work. And I, at the time when I was first starting off this band, I knew nothing. Yeah. I knew absolutely nothing. I knew nothing about managing. I knew nothing about booking. I knew nothing about organizing, making a calendar, and letting the team know that there are things to look forward to, you know?
Yes.
So you're in a project and you're, you know, giving a project your time, and you're like, well, where's this going? And what are we doing here? Are we just doing this show and like that's it? Like, okay, what's happening here? And so So that's something as a band leader and an artist that you have to recognize, and you have to say, oh man, like I've got to step it up here. I've got to step it up here, and I've got to organize things, and I've got to make sure that I'm letting my team know that there are things to look forward to, that I do have a plan, that there is a goal.
There's a vision.
There is a vision, because there's been a vision, but you haven't vocalized or put this vision on paper. And so you've got to do that, and even it's helpful for yourself to see that as well. You know, a lot of the anxiety you have can come from just not being organized and not like writing these things down.
Well, why don't you go ahead and tell people where they can find Wanna Be Bad, where they can keep up with you for everything that's happening next, girl.
Absolutely. So Wanna Be Bad is out on all platforms. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, all the things. We just released a live recording on Flew the Coop, which is out on YouTube, and there are snippets on TikTok if you want to follow me there as well. And next up for us, we're going to be having a house party show in March, hopefully on the 20th, but details will be released. And yeah, an album out in October of 2025.
That's awesome.
That's what's coming up for us.
And give your TikTok so they can find you on TikTok.
Frankie Lynn Shorez on all platforms, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I loved talking with you. I know that this conversation is going to help somebody because you just have so much wisdom, and talking to you and hearing your story really reveals how that all came to be.
Yeah.
And that's so valuable. And I think it's going to be really great when you get to that point where you are going to be working with other artists and helping them through those moments, because you definitely, you've earned your stripes with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for having me.
All the links that Frankie gave will be down in the description box below. I thank her again for joining me today. It was an amazing conversation. If you had as much fun as we did, make sure that you like, you comment, and you subscribe so that we can keep bringing it to you. New episodes of Getting Close Up air bi-weekly on Fridays, but also make sure to check in with me and Dee as we give you the tea on what's hot and what's not with GCU Review. You do not want to miss it. Thanks you guys again for watching. You're the best part of all of this, and I'll see you again soon for another close up. I'll be checking for you. Bye. show. That's a wrap. And then we're gonna do our